And here we go.
Okay.
Don't keep talking. I don't care. Let's do this. Let's just fill up Rob's cloud server with hot D.
I mean, like, I don't know. I don't want him to go through like ages and ages of like editing work just to hear us complain about House Dragons and like fucking Rings of Power, right? Because I feel like I don't want to burden him too much about it.
That's all right. What I do, because he doesn't even like good Lord of the Rings, so I just send him little clips of like just terrible acting. I don't know where they found these people. Like I swear they just went, we need the lowest budget acting agency ever.
To be fair, do you remember like a couple of years ago when they announced they're making it, they had like a call to arms of extras and stuff to be a part of the Lord of the Rings TV show. And it had like multiple millions of thousands of people like signed up for it, and so many people got involved. So they probably just got some of the extras.
It just in brackets. It said TNR, just like talent not required.
Oh,
done.
If you're a living, breathing person, you can apply.
Oh, I don't even know about that. Living, yeah. Okay.
So,
no one's here, so
are we starting with Sympathy for Mr. Vengeance?
We are sadly starting with Sympathy for Mr. Vengeance, but that means that we have a lot of room to go up. So,
okay. So I guess the sponsor for this video would be Baskin and Robbins, I guess.
I mean, it's still Stella Artois. It's always Stella Artois.
Mine is Sam Cider.
Mini Rose. I don't eat them.
They're great.
Mini Rose.
Oh, what'd you say, Ben? You said I should.
No, I like Mini Rolls. They're classic from my childhood.
I can unplug it for a little bit. All right, my phone was charging. Anyway,
right. Are you good? You ready?
So yeah, these films.
No, hold on. I got to ask the question.
It's good.
Emmanuel, why did you pick this film? I mean, why did you pick these films? I mean, why is this your double bill? I mean, why did you do this?
I haven't seen Sympathy for Mr. Vengeance before. And it was on my list for probably since I was in sixth form. Never got around to it. I didn't realize it was going to be that dark.
Yeah.
Yeah, I struggled through that film. But
me too.
I'm sorry.
No, don't be sorry. I think the question already is in the name of the film, right? It's like, have sympathy for Mr. Vengeance. And we all went, no.
No.
That's pretty much it.
No sympathy is required.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Excuse me.
That's all right. And I was just like, wait a minute. And when we thought about Double Bill, I was just like, the first two films that came to mind were these two they were both about vengeance, both by the same director. And I didn't realize it was part of a trilogy until someone said in the call. I was just like, oh, okay. I just thought it would be a cool double bill. They're very relatable to each other. I know now obviously he used a lot of the same actors throughout his films. Of course, it makes sense. But yeah, that's why I picked it.
Rob's gonna be annoyed with me if I don't ask, because you didn't enjoy Old Boy, which is the second film in the Vengeance trilogy. So as your double bill, you picked the first and third film of the Vengeance trilogy.
Yeah, and I remember I remember watching Lady Vengeance way back then. I don't remember everything that happened in it, but I remember thinking it was an amazing film, and that I was just like, you know what? I gotta pick them both together. They're both about vengeance. So yeah, let's pick it.
V for
Yeah.
Vengeance.
That's why I picked it. Um,
But we've had an awful lot of vengeance just lately. There's been a lot of no, actually it was Old Boy that got it started, because then I picked Devil's Backbone and I was like, hey, we've had a lot of Count of Monte Cristo mentions.
Yeah. Well, actually, V for Vendetta started it already, technically.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like how we're all just trying to take credit now.
Yes, we all did it. Well, technically, the first Vengeance movie probably
Yeah,
was.
We've all extended the cycle of vengeance, which culminated in Boa versus Python, I think.
Oh yeah, but that was the ultimate revenge story. That was.
Yeah. Better than Count of Monte Cristo, said Simon Wong.
I can't even remember reading Count of Monte Cristo. I know I read it once, but I was like, I can't remember everyone's names, to be honest.
I appreciate that you went, I've seen Boa versus Python. I haven't seen Count of Monte Cristo. I don't know which one's better yet.
No, that's not what I said. I said I read the book. I just can't remember what the characters' names.
Yeah, there's the Count and Monte Cristo. That's all.
Fucking cute. Okay. So yeah.
Do I want to do general? We've try and pad this out a little bit. Just take a little leaf out of Sympathy for Mr. Vengeance's book. Try and pad this out. We've only got 4 people. So yeah, let's do first impressions.
I'll go first.
Yeah, you know you're about to be sick, so you go first.
No, it's not that. It's that this film is so depressing, right? It's so depressing that I don't have a punchline today because I just couldn't think of one. Because watching this film, I was like, no, that's not funny. I can't really make fun of that. It's kind of weird. I was like, is there like a joke or a punchline? I'm like, there isn't one. That's how depressing this film is.
yeah.
Yeah, this film has.
Just they all ended up dead. Vengeance,
Yeah, there was no. I think the word is catharsis, right? There's no relief or there's no moment. It's just everyone's dead.
Yep. That's it.
Yep,
They
that's
killed, they killed them. They killed them. They did them dirty. It's just a circle of life.
The Circle of Vengeance.
It's the circle of life.
Circle of Life.
Ben, would you like to go next?
I guess so. I suppose I could go-
It's all right.
this film, yeah, much like Old Boy, it was like a depressing, grim slog of a watch of a film. But in the sense that I think Old Boy is one of those films that I could revisit many times and get much more out of it because it has such an intriguing, interesting story with a lot of complexity. And I know this film has a lot of nuance in it too, but at the same time, it hasn't got anywhere near the payoff or like the actual. In comparison to that, at very least, it just doesn't gel as well as that does because that had such a linear, kind of like well thought out structure. This was just seemed like misery for misery's sake, and obviously, maybe it's just because of how Korean cinema is. It kind of seems even more grimmer than usual in that regard because these poor characters that suffer through so much, they don't get much of a. Well, their arc is mainly just revenge, and that's it, and that's their story, and I suppose I wanted a bit more like of some sort of like what's the word contrast of in terms of like lightness to the darkness, if that makes sense. And
Yeah.
even though it's brilliantly made, I do feel like it was just too much of one thing and not enough for another. If that makes sense.
I would say it's because it is the first movie of that like vengeance trilogy. So it's like maybe he didn't really know like where to stand or what to do yet. And he's like, okay, if I build up, I've set the base. If I build it up this way, it becomes Old Boy. But then I got Old Boy and I build up another way, it becomes Lady Vengeance, but
Yeah.
it's like very. You can tell that this film had like the story wasn't like great. So much.
It was like that warm-up demo kind of test of what he could do and what he knew he
Oh, yeah,
was good
yeah,
at
yeah.
and what he could like improve on.
Yeah, to add to that, so one, first off, after he made one of his first successes, Joint Security Area, the studios kind of gave him carte blanche to do whatever he wanted, basically. They fund whatever he wanted to make. And he wanted something with a vengeance-minded type plot. But he couldn't find anything he liked. So he went back on something he did some work on before he made his like first success. And he finished most of the script in like 20 minutes.
Oh,
No,
that's
not 20 minutes, sorry. 20 hours.
I was gonna say that's quite impressive for
Oh.
20 minutes.
Was there some guy with a stopwatch? Like, fuck me.
You just like you're writing that fast.
But still,
I literally just sat down and went, "Watch this."
yeah. But obviously, still, it's not the best. He did it in like 20 hours. I'm sure it had edits and stuff, but yeah, you can tell, like you guys were saying, as time went on, he became more and more polished. Like Old Boy was much better, and then Lady Vengeance it felt like a poem in terms of a film. It also made me cry.
I think when you compare, Alec, what did you think of this? I think when you compare all three of them, you can see a definite honing of skill here. Because what I found very fucking frustrating with this was I was like, I know there's a cause and effect here. You just haven't shown it. And you edited out the bits that had it. And I know you have, because I know that there's thought behind this. You just didn't show any of it. So I'm now forced to go, the yellow pages in Korea are just fucking awesome. They're the best yellow pages in on the planet. They're just amazing. You can just rock up at the protagonist's apartment, no fucking problem. You just show up at people's houses. You just know where it's kind of like satellite location. You can just find people. And then you get Old Boy, and it's like a little bit better, and there's like a little bit of a. You go like, what the fuck did that? I don't know. And then you get to Lady Vengeance, and you're like, wow, everything's just marrying up. I know why people found it. That's great. And it's like that's really nice. Well done for doing that. But yeah, I thought Sympathy for Mr. Vengeance was such a fucking boring shit film. Like I couldn't grasp onto anything because like Old Boy had a protagonist, Lady Vengeance had a protagonist. This kind of had a protagonist for a little bit and then dropped him for another protagonist because it was a cycle of vengeance, and I was just like, I'm not really grasping onto anyone. So this 2 hours is feeling like 8, and like I'm just watching people have these 10-minute extended funeral sequences where people are just making wounded animal noises.
Yep.
It's just going on and on and on, and I'm just like, can this end?
Yeah, it was really circle
I get the
jerking
violence
itself.
begets violence. Fuck me. I get it, man. It's cool. That was my first impression.
Yeah, this film is like literally just trying to jerk its own gurk, if you know what I mean. But 4 guys just like just there.
It was coming in and out of the room while I was watching it, and she was like, "Are you playing a film with like a fucking kid crying?" And I'm like, "Yeah, sorry." And she was just like, "It's so fucking irritating." And I was like, "Yeah, no, I was playing it when the neighbors were chatting in the lobby the other day because I wanted them to fuck off because it was annoying me." And I was just like, the only way to get rid of this is to go like kid crying, man screaming, sex noises. It had it all. I was like, if this film does not just evict these people. I don't know what is gonna do it. Like,
Yeah. So weird that,
deeply unpleasant.
I mean, yeah, just the little bits in this film for story wise are, as you say, very deeply unpleasant. But
I take notes.
I feel like the shots that were in this film were kind of good, I guess, because like, well, okay, this one is not the good one. This one that they're switching in between the apartments, and just like you see again the dude's jerking it, and afterwards it goes back to the lady, but you realize, oh, she's not moaning because of like sexual reasons. She's moaning because she's having like a drug-induced panic attack, and I'm like, oh, that's really gross. Yeah.
Yeah, I found that a bit like moderately amusing. I was like, oh yeah, that's kind of funny. They think it's sex.
But then after it goes into another scene. It's about the scene where he gets fired, right? But it's not very explicit to say that he's been fired. But it does show. It does do a very
No,
good.
it's laid off. He doesn't get fired.
But it does do a very good show don't tell thing, because essentially it's him working with the spinning like metal barrel thing, right? And afterwards it cuts to the office and you see him shake hands with the boss guy. Then it's shot, and the shot back to it's the barrel thing in stopped working, and it's like, oh right, he's been, well, I assumed he's been fired, but it's like, oh right, because he was doing the job, handshake with a boss manager type, then he's not got the job anymore. And I was like, oh, that's actually, I feel like that's shot quite well, because it shows you very simply, because he's deaf, he can't really hear, and we're supposed to sympathize with him because again he's deaf, we can't really hear it. But it's like, it's no need to like say words that showed it all out, and it's very laid out on like in front of us. I was like, oh yeah, that's quite good. That's like, it's very, very good shot seeing that.
I did kind of. I do think this is one of those things with this film where like I could kind of get what was happening, but the choice not to subtitle it, I was like, why? You could make this like just a little clearer. I don't know. It's the bits where like he's doing sign language and they don't subtitle the sign language, and I was messaging my dad because he he like works with disabled people, and I was like, Dad, what is this guy saying? And he's kind of like, oh, it's this, and I was just like, thank you. The film didn't do this.
Wait, which part?
I've had to fucking get outside help. He's like, when they're arguing and he's going like, or he's going like
oh right, yeah, that part wasn't.
When they're going through like the plan and stuff, he's like angrily sign languaging.
It's like, no, we shouldn't do this or some shit, right? And it's
I'm like,
oh, what was he saying? Because yeah, they didn't do like the kind of subtitle cards, and did they?
Well, it was American Sign Language, so my dad was going like, I think he's saying like something about the dad or something. I don't know what he's like kind of.
Oh, they were using ASL.
Yeah.
No,
but they're in Korea. They have their own sign language.
Well, I feel like
they do.
Sorry, Dan, I didn't mean to discredit you live.
No, I mean, maybe it's just because like it
might be similar.
Yeah, it might be so. It's like they were like just do certain things and just be. Yeah, I just spitball it. It's like, yeah, sure, why not?
Saying that, all the characters that use sign language learned alongside deaf and nonverbal mute individuals. So like the people who did use it obviously did learn it if they didn't know it before. But obviously but I wonder which one they were actually doing.
Well, according to my dad, it's American Sign Language, but
okay, cool.
I feel like wasn't the school that wait, will you say Ryu or Ryu?
Yeah,
Ryu, right? He didn't. The school he go to, wasn't it?
Okay, what's the difference? And I was like, no.
But there was, didn't the school he go to was an international school, wasn't it? So it might have been from there.
Maybe.
Yeah.
That's the only thing I can think of that may be the reason why it's American Sign Language. That's probably it.
I should clarify. He just says he said looks like American Sign Language.
Okay,
Right.
but in any case, we're giving this story a lot of credit where it doesn't deserve it anyways. So
Honestly, I've got so many notes on this. Like there was just so many, because I was like getting a bit frustrated with it on like the first and set, because like honestly, I had to do this in bursts. Because the first time I watched it, I was like, I can't concentrate on this longer than 10 fucking minutes. Like this is so annoying.
Oh
And
man.
then the second watch, I was like, okay, I got the basic thing, and I was just like, today I was like, I'm gonna just have to watch both of them, because like I feel like I have an idea of what the story is now, but I had so many things where I was like, what does the sister think is happening? Actually, that was something I wanted to bring
So-
up. Actually. The first time I watched this, I was I said to Rob, I was like, I barely fucking watched that. I can't concentrate on it. And I was like, I really hate the sister. And Rob was like, why? And it's because I've confused her with the girlfriend. And then when she killed herself, I was like, and then the girlfriend was running around, and I was like, I thought she killed herself. What the fuck is happening?
Oh,
That's how little I was watching it. But
man.
It is.
That's
a-
right.
I got it this time.
Yeah.
But I was like,
Girlfriend is the terrorist.
yeah. But I was like, what does the sister actually think is happening though? Because she's there when they kidnap the unattended child. They see like the thing with Peng happening where he like slices himself open with like a box cutter, I think.
Yeah,
And he goes, what's the plan? And she goes, and then it just cuts and they're in a playground and there's no one around other than them and this little girl, and no one is there. And I was like, no one's there? Why is no one there? Because they pan out and they show she's quite far away from the center of the city where she presumably lives. And I was like, why is she here with no one?
Yeah. No idea. Well, I mean, like,
Wait, why is Sue there with no one?
say
The
again?
little girl with the glasses. Like, why is no one there
No one where?
at the playground where they kidnap her?
No, they didn't. That was also a little one of those things, cause and effect. She wasn't left at the, I forgot how they explained it. If someone else remembers it, you can fill in the gap for me.
Because
But
the cut after this is like they're in the apartment and she's going, and like the sister's talking to her like normal, and then she's like, oh, is your mum still in the hospital? And Ryu goes, hey, she doesn't know about the hospital. Her dad said not to mention it. And I was like, you've been fired. What the fuck is this? Why?
Basically, from what I kind of understand, though it's a bit sketchy, they were talking about it later. They've mentioned at different points how I think the little girl was at like a child minder's to be picked up from like by the dad, but then they picked up the kid stating certain things. So that
like
girl,
she was the new babysitter. That's what it was, right?
Yeah,
Oh,
so the girl, it might have been from the mom or whatnot that they picked her up because she had a letter with the mom's handwriting on it, but they picked up the kids, and the kid in that way thought, oh, it's one of dad's friends. Reeves, one of dad's friends. And yeah, it was just another babysitter, but he's gonna come and pick me up like at some point, or they're gonna drop me off with him.
I don't think that scene's in my version.
So
mean,
it's not a scene, it's a few lines here and there throughout the film.
it wasn't specified. It wasn't shown. It was like off talking points. It's like they quickly said it. Oh yeah, I'm the babysitter. Yeah. Okay, let's go. Next scene. That's pretty much what it was.
I was dead confused by that. I was like, what does who think is happening? Because like
the sister for sure thinks it's all innocent because the way she asked the kid, she was like, "Oh yeah, I'm I'm babysitting for the boss because
What?
she thinks it's
Why does she think it's innocent? Though,
because she's
like,
babysitting.
why does she think there's a child in her house?
Ba-
Like,
Babysitting is
the
literally.
CEO of his company has just gone, "Hey, Mr. Guy who does the cement mixer, can you hold on to my kid?"
I'm guessing.
At the end of the day,
That's fucking weird.
You-
Remember, she was on. Remember,
Oh.
she's on light drugs as well. She couldn't really stick 100%
yeah, there's that
because
as well.
of the kidney, the kidney problems. So it's like
Hmm.
maybe she was just a bit out of it, and she was like, "Oh, you're taking care of the kids, boss? Yeah, I guess that makes sense." No, that's the best way I can imagine it. It doesn't make sense, but it kind of makes sense. But actually, again, this is why everyone went, maybe not, maybe.
This is one of my 0.5s. I'll get to the ones later. I feel like you were going to say something.
No.
No,
I just don't know. Yeah. I don't know if you guys watch a different version. I don't know if the 40D version is different to the Amazon version, but I remember that coming completely out of left field for me. I was going like, what?
it shouldn't be. But all I would say is that there's one version. Ooh, this sunset looks beautiful. There's one version that well, I guess none of us would have watched.
Did you just say the sunset looks beautiful and then turn it to Camilla? Because that was really romantic.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
very
that's quite sweet.
Oh,
the sunset.
She is beautiful, but no, I was talking about the sunset.
Oh, okay,
Oh,
cool.
there we go.
Yeah, the sunset on your TV. Yeah, that's great.
I see how it is.
What you call it? That he originally wanted it to slowly desaturate throughout the film and at the end be black and white, but he didn't have the budget for it. So I think when he revisited it, because he then wanted to do it as well with Lady Vengeance, but I think he kind of did it a little bit with Lady Vengeance, maybe
Yeah, he did.
Okay. But he didn't go completely like black and white, just kind of more desaturated. And there's another version, a director's cut of, I think, Sympathy for Mr. Vengeance, where he does do it like years later. He makes it go from color to black and white slowly. But yeah. Can't remember about that.
I don't know. It might have been the cut, but this is what I mean. Like, there was definitely a cause and effect thing in the script. I was just like,
oh yeah, lots of things scenes were just missed out.
I was looking around for it because it was like the Old Boy thing where like the webcam stuff happens and that's like how he locates Woojin. But I was like, what happened there? I don't know. And it was like, there's a scene missing. I'm missing something here.
Oh, which ones were you confused about?
I've written, what does Sister think is happening? How did they get his phone number?
Whose phone number?
The father, Kang. Fuck, I can't do his name. The father.
How did the father get whose number?
No, how did they get the father's number?
Oh,
I think that was explained. I think the phone number was from the little girl. Like, I think the phone was the little girl's, from what I remember.
I'm not 100. Little girls.
Yeah, his daughter's phone.
Yeah, remember how she complained so much to her dad just before the guy got cut up in front of the car that she really wanted a phone?
Yeah.
So they waited until they got a phone for her and then kidnapped her like the next day.
No, that's just
to leave him with the phone.
That's just coincidental. I think
otherwise,
he would have tried to go.
What you said is true, right? It was coincidental, but that's probably what happened in the story, I guess.
Yeah.
Because all I can remember is like that happens when Peng comes in front of their car.
That fucking scene where he's fucking cutting himself up, man. Fucking hell.
Yeah, that, like,
I loved
man,
that because I was like, "What's happening?" And then it cut. It like came. It like zoomed in, and I was like, "Oh, the Chinese censorship wouldn't." Sorry, the Korean censorship. Sorry, Simon.
Oh,
They wouldn't
Shit's
show it.
going
They blurred it out.
Oh, did they?
Like,
Oh, really?
yeah, they blurred.
Not-
I was like, "What's going on? His stomach looks fine." And then they zoom right into it, and I was like, "Oh, his stomach is not fine at all. There's lots of cuts in it. Actually, that's the opposite of fine."
Yes,
Oh,
because
God.
because
There's
essentially it's like, oh, please give me money or I cut my stomach open. And it's like, yeah, I was like, yeah, because like, mentally speaking, I really what needed the money because of the surgery and everything else,
Mm.
which is the real fuck you anyway, because he could have waited another like 10-ish days, wasn't it? Then afterwards it's like, hey, we found a donor. You didn't have to cut your own
Exactly.
kidney from that sketchy lady. You already knew she was sketchy anyways because of the place. But when
Yeah.
you saw her arm with so many fucking needle holes in her arm, right?
Oh,
I
yeah.
was like,
I didn't get that either.
So dumb.
I
he
didn't
was-
get why he went there going, "I need a kidney for my sister," and they've gone, "All right, what's your kidney?" And he's gone, "It's a B."
He didn't have enough money to buy the kidney outright.
No. I get that, but why wouldn't you bring your sister along? Does he think they're going to deliver the kidney?
from what I
Well,
remember people telling me about the story is he is actually not mentally all there as well. That's the reason why he's like, oh, he's a bit, yeah, he's just say not mentally all there. So that's why he's like, oh, this seems like a good idea. He doesn't have the higher functioning brain to go, maybe
Maybe I
if
should bring my sister along for an operation. I'd like for an operation to occur on my sister.
yeah, made no
Yeah.
sense.
Yeah.
Because
It's a shame.
yeah, because this film has lots of mentally unwell people in this film, and I just don't want to like.
Oh, you can't you can throw a fucking dart and hit a mentally fucking impaired person. They're just everywhere.
In this film, yeah, there's so much.
Sorry, Manuel, I talked over you.
So much shit going down.
Yeah,
Yeah. I was gonna say, the guy who the river guy who took this, he was he basically to act the part or do the part that he was asked to, he spent a lot of time around cerebral palsy people basically, which was what he was acting like he had. And in this film in general, there was a lot of like accidental or just like accidental hits, knocks, or too much roughness or lots of things. Like the way they did this film, like in the river when Ryu was getting beaten, that was real. Like they didn't have the budget to they ran out of budget to get special effects, sound effects, and like and other makeup stuff. So he really beat him up. Weeks the next
Okay.
day, apology.
I thought you were gonna say like they actually got him in the middle of a river and like cut his tendons. Just like, oh, sorry, mate, we've run
yeah.
out of budget.
Not
Give
that,
your life to this movie. Okay.
but yeah, it's just like I was like, wait, what? He said, yeah, I actually beat him. I said, what the crap? And there was times when the Ryu and the girlfriend were doing stuff, or like things rather, to be clear. And they like he accidentally kneed her in the face. And it was just all sorts of things. It was just like people were getting hurt in this film. Like, what's going on? That's where there
Which
was
makes me laugh because of all like the acting that we've had in this, the bit when I'm gonna get his name right now. Hold on. What's his name? Song Kang Ho.
Mhm.
The bit when he gets texted the instructions to go somewhere, and he looks around, and there's one building with a door, and he goes, "I've been told to stop. I will now face away from the building and do this." And I was like, "Come on, Song Kang Ho, what are you doing? What are you doing?" But like, he doesn't seem to be like fake crying or something. He's not like moving his shoulders or shit. Like, he's just going,
No, I think it was in the instructions to say
Yeah.
close your eyes is what it's supposed to be, I guess. But
Yeah.
but even if that was the case, I wouldn't have done it. It was like no one around. How the fuck would he know?
like, I don't want to start appealing to what I'd do in this situation or anything.
All right, yeah, it's true.
But like, I'm just thinking, you get led to this location. This started out as a thing against acting. Sorry, you get led to this location and get told to stop, and there's one building with one door, and you go,
Mhm.
"I'm gonna
But-
face away from the door."
He knows what's going to happen. He just wants to be as compliant as possible so that he gets his kid. Oh, another point on the acting for the scene after that, where he's really hoarse. He was screaming and yelling for 2 days, like constantly, so that his voice would be authentically hoarse enough for the scene.
I can just imagine him go, ah! No, not quite yet. Ah!
I'm sorry, Song. It's just not that good yet. Let's just do one more.
Like,
So stupid.
people
That's
didn't.
great.
They really went out for this director. They really helped him out. Like, what was that? How people get hurt? Is this? Is that? All of your film. It's like, imagine. I'm sorry. I'm just thinking about the run out of budget thing. Sorry, we're gonna need to beat you up because we ran out of money for sound effects. No, I would just be like, change the script. I ain't
I feel-
gonna beat no one.
I feel that there were certain scenes that were beneficial to the director that because he ran out of budget, sorry. Because like in like when we talk about Old Boy, there's a lot of like implied torture, but you never actually
Yeah.
see any of the torture, right? Because when she had the fucking blanket on her, right? It was so obvious that nothing was really happening. She was told, just pretend you're like in pain. And she was like, guess.
When you have to, oh,
Ah! But it's like, it's very implied. You never see any like thing happen, right?
yeah,
But because like, because I imagine he's run out of money. He's like, can we make her like have like some steam coming off her? I guess. He goes, no, just like shake the fucking blanket a bit more. Yeah,
Uncle
okay, fine.
Fester style.
You wanna shake it all the time.
Yeah, but like I feel like we also saw this later in the scene where the Rio is going to grab the door handle, but it's obviously it's like booby trapped with like the
Yeah.
electric, right? But the way you see him grab the handle is like this, and it's just like that's some good acting, I guess, because like no, it's very obvious like what it did because we see the shot from the other side with the car battery on door handle. It's like okay, we know why it's that, but it's like no, it's just so sudden. It's just see him go. It's so weird.
yeah, it did a good job. Like, these actors really like went above and beyond.
Yep, that's why when we go back to Old Boy, when we go the scene with the teeth pulling, right? Again, very implied and like the precipice of the actual part of that torture, but we don't actually see any torture. And it's like, oh, it's like one of his styles, because I think he uses that for another scene for Lady Vengeance, but we'll go into that in afterwards when we actually get to that film, because this film's got a drag. Film just
Yeah.
drags.
And like, I just want to say, like, Old Boy, like, you bring up the teeth pulling scene. That's so effective because they don't actually like show it. They just kind of show there's someone's tooth, and there's pliers,
Yeah.
and
I think
and then you cut, and there's someone screaming, and you're like, I know what's happened. I didn't need to see it, and we didn't dwell on it happening. I know what's happened though.
But like, I feel like you could say that about the car battery scene for her ears. She got licked on the ears, which was weird enough. Anyways, that was.
I was just like, when I saw that happen, I was just like, how did that actor feel? She must have been so uncomfortable. It's just like, this
I mean,
guy-
they obviously told her about it, right? He didn't just go and do it. He obviously, so he's gonna lick your ears. He's gonna lick my ears. He didn't just go. Bleh. I was like, ugh.
Hey. I paid good money for that earlier.
Someone licked your ears? What?
Yeah, I got my hair cut. He cut my hair, and then he got like a little stick, and he set fire to it, and he did all this, and then he washed my hair, and then he slapped a towel around my face, and then he nibbled my earlobe a little bit, and he kissed my neck, and I paid him £27, and I left.
This doesn't sound legit.
Oh, well, maybe I shouldn't have paid him £27 then.
Oh man.
Sorry.
But yeah, I get what you like. He got better throughout the films at like implying it but not showing it, but also helping the budget by like not having to show it, which is a whole nother problem. I'm sorry, showing it, which is a whole nother problem compared to not showing it. It's kind of like the cutting the ear off scene in Reservoir Dogs. It's so effective because he pans away just as it's happening.
They
It's one
did
of
a
those-
scene where he did get his ear cut off. He just said, "Oh, it looks too violent, so we'll just do another." He did that shot twice.
It's one of
Actually,
those things that like Hancock did, where like this is one of the things that annoyed me with Hancock, because there's that bit where like the guy in the prison is like squaring up to him, and he's like, if you do this, I'm gonna stick your head right up that guy's ass. And then like that's kind of another guy who's like, yeah, all right. And then you kind of have that shot where the guy swings for him, and then Will Smith does something, and then you get back to, and you like just look at the audience and they go, oh, and then they show the shot of the guy with the head up the ass, and it's like, man, you ruined it. You could have just shown the reactions and that would have been fine. But now you've had to do this now, where some guy's head is up some guy's ass, and it's like, oh,
Yeah, I
stop,
think
no, you did
I
too
think the
much.
what you're trying to say is like you're right. It's like the most effective stuff is the stuff you don't see. And
Yeah.
I've seen a few films in the past where it's like the imagery in your head is always scarier than what you actually see in the film. Like Silence of the Lambs, for example, what he describes to Clarice of what the detective describes what Hannibal has done is so much more scary than what you ever see him do, and he does some scary shit.
Yeah, and I think it's like the sign of an immature director going like, I need to show this happening. It's like, no, you don't actually need to show all of this happening.
Mhm.
You
Or
just,
it's just
imply it.
of gore like The Boys. The
Mm.
same. Eric Kripke just goes on another level. I'm thinking, what the crap? None of this was needed.
He's done it too much now.
Or-
Because they're going, like, oh, season 4 is so much more shocking. And I'm like,
They don't need to
no,
do
it's kind of plateaued now. I'm not bothered now. You kind of done it, and you need something else.
Yeah.
Anyway, I've got a nice hot and spicy contrivance.
Go
Hmm.
for it.
Oh, you're gonna like this one because it's fractal. It is. We have like this weird little thing, and it's like this scene that's just kind of like not. This is like what I mean, but like I said, oh, I thought Simon had just gone. I was like, oh, fuck you.
No, I was blowing my nose. I didn't want
ju-
that sound on like the internet.
I was just. I thought you were doing a pat. Like I've just come up with a contrivance, and you were like, oh right. Oh,
No,
really?
no, no,
Yes.
no, no. I'm not Pat. I'm not Daniel.
No, you show up.
Hmm.
Like it only became apparent to me because of this really badly constructed it's like a collection of scenes really. We have like Song Kang Ho is like in his like house and everything, and he's like dwelling on his daughter's death and all that. And then the detective comes over and he gives him an envelope full of money. And he goes, do what you need to do. Right?
Okay.
He doesn't have anything. He doesn't know anything about anything. This is him being desperate. He goes, I've had to sell my company.
Oh no, 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 no,
This
no,
is what's
no,
left.
no, not contrivance.
No. You haven't let me finish. This is the
Okay.
setup. This is the setup, my friend.
Sorry. Carry
He
on.
hands him the thing. He goes, this is all the money I've left. Here you go. We cut to Ryu's old apartment. And I'm like, where the fuck did you get this? Why are you here? What the fuck did you... Sorry. How do you know to come here? How did you go in all of South Korea? I need to be in this apartment right now. And I'm like, where did you get this information? What the fuck?
The officer.
They're sitting in Ryu's apartment and he's looking at his hand and he goes, you asked if I'd ever provoked someone. Maybe we should go to my ex-employee, Peng. And then they go to Peng's house, find him dead, and then they go back to Ryu's apartment. And I was like, hold on a minute. Why did you fucking show up at Ryu's apartment first? How did you know to show up there? You didn't have any information.
No, wait. I swear it's not because of the thingy, it's the detective. There was a lead the detective went off of. I can't remember the lead now. Obviously, since he's paying him, they shouldn't divulge information that they're investigating, but this is quite a long while ago, and he was funding the investigation. So can anyone remember what led the detectives to Ryu's place with his sister?
Maybe I'm misremembering. Did they go to Peng's house first, then they go to Ryu's? Because I swear to God.
No, they go to Ryu's apartment and they go, this is a brother and sister's apartment. They left. And then he goes, did you ask about if I'd ever provoked someone? And then they go to Peng's apartment.
Yeah.
And then he comes back. This is part one of my problem, by the way.
Yeah. But there was I can't remember it now, but there was a reason that the detectives, when they were investigating, found out where like Ryu lived or something like that. Because obviously the detectives have all that kind of information and can get people's addresses. That's no problem. And the guy came alone, obviously to see if he recognized anything X, Y, and Z. So it's not a contrivance, but I can't remember the reason.
This is part one of my contrivance.
This
is not the contrivance. This is the setup for the contrivance.
Oh, okay. Sorry. Carry on.
So the setup. Sorry, I think the order of the scenes go. They show up at the crime scene.
Mm.
Sang Kong Ho has his big cry. He questions him, and then we show up at fucking Ryu's apartment, where he says, "Let's go to the thing about the provoking, and then they go to the Peng's house, and then they come back here, and I was like, what the fuck? But then when Song Kang-ho comes back, the neighbors have the radio going, which just so happens at that time to be playing a message from Ryu, who sent a second fucking postcard to accompany the first postcard that we got in the opening, where he has painted a scene of the crime scene with the dead daughter floating around in the river. And I'm like, this is fucking convenient. I'm sorry. He's shown up at this apartment while these guys who wanked over his sister having kidney constipations, and they just happen to be listening to the radio at the time this comes up, and then he gets the address from the radio. He goes to the radio station, and they go, "Oh, is this where it was?" And he sees a fucking watercolor of his daughter fucking drowning.
Yeah, that was very coincidental.
I was like, fuck me.
Oh yeah.
I was like, construction wise, why don't you just have this be? They don't have any leads. And then you have the scene in Song Kang-ho's house where he goes, "Did you ever ask if I'd ever provoked anyone?" But that comes after he gives him the money, or like while he's giving him the money. He goes, "Did you ever ask if I'd ever provoked anyone? Here's my money." And then they go to Peng's house and they see that Peng's dead. And they go, maybe I should check ex-employees' addresses. And then they wind up at Ryu's apartment. And then they hear the fucking advantageous radio station. I just don't get I don't get how they just fucking go from we have nothing and then winding up in the fucking apartment of the guy who did it. Like in the very next scene, I was just like, fucking hell.
I mean, it wasn't the very next scene.
It was the very next scene.
Wasn't there a scene about them going to Peng's house, him taking the boy to the fucking hospital, the doctor going, "Yeah, I'm not an optimistic doctor." And I was like, yeah.
I'm almost sure that they have the thing where they question him, and then there's like a 10-minute extended sequence of like Korean women wailing about like a dead kid. And then we're in the apartment.
That was probably a bit later. I remember that scene a bit later.
Right, well, I'm gonna bring up the fucking video.
But in any case, I didn't like those particular cuts of scenes anyway, because it was depressing anyway, seeing the fucking Peng and his family eating the pizza with rat poison on it or some shit, right? It's like there's like a bottle next to the pizza. I thought it was like poison or something, because he essentially kills himself and his family.
Oh yeah, that when I saw that, it reminded me of like real life stories of that happening in Japan, and just
like
sad.
Yeah. Then he go. Sorry. Then it goes into the the not optimistic doctor. Then it's a scene of them having sex, and while they're having sex, they're using ASL, and I was like, I never thought.
It's the first scene in a film, the first sex scene in the film where they use sign language at the same time. The first sex scene with sign
people who speak with sign language don't have sex.
But it's so weird. You can just go. Just like,
what did you say?
Imagine what they could be signing. It's like, hey, you're about to reach your limit. He goes, I don't know. It's like, hey, you know. Oh, yeah, pull my hair. I don't know. What the fuck? It could be anything. But it's just like, it's such a weird scene, because it was depressing, sexy. Okay, I guess it's less depressing, but it's like, it was very sudden just to have depressing scene, sex scene.
Yeah, that was weird. On another, before I forget, you know, Ben and Alec, you might know this as well, but Simon, you know how it's like a myth, an Asian myth, where if you leave the fan in the room overnight.
Right, the Korean one, right, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, a Korean one. Is it Korean specifically?
I think it's Korean specifically because I've heard this, but only from like people I know from Korea.
Yeah, it is Korean specifically, because now that you say it, I remember a scientist from there who's still trying to defend that he's right when every study is just like, no, it's not right. Anyway, to kind of like, as part of that myth, in two of the rooms where they found dead people, there was a fan on. Just one of those random little cultural things.
See, I believe that because we had a fan on during the summer, and it just dried my mouth out like entirely. So I was like, yeah, I can see how this would kill someone.
Oh wait, the radio broadcast scene where he listens to the neighbors was after the sex scene, though, right?
No, it's before.
No, it can't be because I've written it down as it being because I do my notes in order of the film as I'm watching the film.
Well, you're gonna have to rely on my alcohol-addled memory then.
Okay. Because like I remember that scene afterwards because he's going to. I guess I don't know. I feel like the scenes aren't in order in itself anyway, because like afterwards from that scene from the radio broadcast, he goes to the river where he sees the dude with the necklace. Oh, which I noticed as a goof. When initially he was taking the picture, when Rio was trying to take a picture of her, and he made her cry, and then afterwards he gave her the necklace so she wouldn't stop crying. In the picture, she's already wearing the necklace, so I was like, "Is he?"
See, there's multiple pictures in that box, so I feel like it's reasonable to go. He took extra pictures.
Okay, I was like, he must have. Did he take extra pictures? Because
I was gonna go like, hang on a fucking minute, and then I was like, nah, all right, I can believe he took extra pictures after that.
Okay.
I gave this a chance.
You gave it a chance, but but you still couldn't give him sympathy, yeah?
No, I couldn't get. God, this was the problem with it as well, because like considering it's called Sympathy for Mr. Vengeance and everything, and it's just kind of like, okay, the first hour of this is devoted to this guy just going through like a comedy of errors, and then we get to fucking, I guess, who is Mr. Vengeance, who can just find people like just really easily. I don't know how he finds the girlfriend. He just does, and then he calls in like a takeaway, and then kills the delivery man for no reason.
That takeaway was by the girlfriend. She was complaining. That's what she was complaining with before she answered the door. She's like, "Yeah, you gave me fucking bad noodles. They're all soggy by the time they arrive. Get me a new order."
ASAP.
Yeah,
the girlfriend thing. He found the girlfriend, I swear, from like when he went back to the apartment. He found something. We don't know what he found though.
I mean, I know what he found there. He found a radio broadcast happening in the next apartment. Telling him it was fucking Ryu who painted a fucking picture of the crime scene.
Yeah, it was weird because I think it's because when he goes to the riverbed, he uncovers the sister, right?
Yeah.
And they
somehow.
No. He's throwing all the rocks.
Yeah, because the guy, the mentally ill dude, was throwing the rocks. That's why he grabbed the necklace. But he saw the cloth underneath the rocks and kept throwing it. And like, oh right, yeah, I can see that there's a person on the head. And he goes to the autopsy room again. And that scene fucked me up. It's like, You confirm the body. You don't need to be in the autopsy room again, right? It seems so.
I just like the idea of this guy just going around the fucking river, going like, "Nope, I've skipped all the stones in this mound of rocks. I will now move to this next mound of rocks. Oh, a body."
If it makes you feel any better, though it probably won't, the actor didn't see the kind of special effects dead cadaver messed up body. He was just reacting to a table, a empty table while they played gore noises.
Oh, that's okay. No, that's very respectful to the actor. Then, like, very.
It's still
Good on him.
up there
Good on
with
him.
it's still up there with Insomnia levels of like, oh, I found a bullet casing in this fucking mound of rocks by a river. And it's like, oh, fuck off. No, you didn't.
No, but that's not as believable. Whereas this one, he had a painted picture, which
This is more believable, yeah.
The contrivance, yes, that's not believable. But it was painted so clearly, it is believable that he could be like, okay, there's this kind of little dock thingy here, which was built by the crew, by the way. The crew built that little dodgy kind of dock thingy.
I believe this crew built that bridge. It's fucking shit.
I feel
Like, oh, it must be there. I'm just gonna go there and just keep trying to see what happens.
Yeah, he knows it's near that bridge, so I'm like, I'm less grumpy about that bit.
admittedly speaking, Alec, because it is a bit of a contrivance, yes. But technically speaking, that mentally ill dude would have like removed the rocks anyway, because that's what he was doing, is throwing the rocks into the water. So the police probably would have seen the body eventually. So it might have like come up a bit later, but I guess it's a bit contrived because he just happened to see the guy right then throwing the rocks, and he threw the rocks as well.
See, I didn't actually take a point off for him. I don't like that he's there.
But him being there,
I don't like that he like unearths like just so much of this. Just this random fucking disabled guy just left in the wilderness.
well, I mean, him being there was like the reason she fell in, nearly, isn't it?
Yeah,
Was
I think it's
okay,
implied he chucked a rock that went a bit wrong, and then that's what made her fall in.
Yeah, that's how I saw it. Is that not how everyone else saw it? Because I swear to God,
I thought it was kind of vaguely like that she ended up falling in because of him, and then she ended up drowning. But she only just, one thing that didn't, I guess, wasn't clear in the script, unless it was just a bad translation, she had just started swimming lessons.
Mhm.
But because she didn't start them earlier, she couldn't swim by herself yet, which is implied the reason why she drowned. But then later on, her ghost was saying, why didn't you give me swimming lessons or blah, blah, blah. I was just like, he did. It just wasn't.
I found that scene so weird as well, because she went, why didn't you teach me swimming lessons? And then he like hugs her and he's like, and I was like, no, you shouldn't be happy about that. You should.
Well, I mean, that scene is obviously him losing his fucking mind anyway, right?
Yeah.
Because
Yeah. But it's like
sad.
I can have hallucinations,
But
and
I
someone
think-
goes, why didn't you teach me how to? I don't know.
I feel
Avoid being killed, and I'm like, yeah. Just like, I don't know.
I don't know how to explain that scene. Or the way that I saw that scene is that, yeah, you're right. I could have taught you swimming lessons earlier. That's the way I saw that scene. Like.
Yeah.
But like, I think talking about
Me
the
too.
dude throwing the rocks, I think, wasn't it because one of them hit her head? Because I swear to God, there was blood in the water, and like the water was kind of like has a little bit of red in it.
Yeah, there was, yeah.
So I feel like because she got hit in the head, fell into the water, I was like, oh, please save me. Obviously, he's deaf. He wouldn't been able to hear her go, oh, please save me. Then after she hit the head on the big rock, then after it drowns, then obviously it dies. It's like that's the way that I think that that scenario played out. I'm not 100% sure on that though.
I think so as well. It is vague, but it is implied.
Also, I know Rob's gonna take the piss out of this because this is kind of becoming a bit of a meme for me now. But I can actually see the rationale before, like, you know, for blue haired guy to Ryu to have his back to something. Because, you know, he's burying his sister. It's a very private moment, and he knows that the girl they've kidnapped is in the car. He wants to have his back to people he's aware of, and the disabled guys behind him too. So yeah, he would want to have his back to them. So I'm not saying having your back to something is always a bad thing. I know I know since Get Out, it's become a bit of a meme. I'm just defending against this now, but this in a film I don't like is an area where it made sense.
Yeah, because I mean, all you can say is that he was deaf. He wouldn't have the peripheral benefit of hearing to see,
Absolutely.
like, feel,
and he'd want to turn away.
Yes. So yeah, it makes sense.
There's two things behind him he doesn't want to look at right now. It's the kidnapped girl, and yeah, it's this, and it's like that's fair enough.
Then it goes back to Mr. Park, is what I like to say, and he's like inside that fucking. He's listening to the phone, and in that room, what looks like a white room. I was like, where is he? Then afterwards, you see like he's in his fucking safe space in that fucking like little like air inflated bubble with all the little balls.
Oh, I love that scene. I thought it was like, nice.
Oh, that broke my heart. It's like his little safe space, his little protective thing against the world before he goes, all right, go out the world and find the person who killed my daughter. Okay, give me a minute. And I was like, oh, that fucking.
I thought that scene was fucking adorable. When he's just sitting in the little ball pit that he's inflated himself, and I was like, oh, fuck you. That's cute. And like this was sort of the thing. This is like the little bits sort of just poking out where I'm like, you're not complete shit. And it's like the little things where he's in the elevator. And like the cover comes down off his dead girlfriend, and then he like realizes it's her.
That scene made no sense as well.
Surrounded by police, and he's like, and he like holds her hand, and I was like, oh man, that's so fucking good.
Yeah, but that scene didn't make sense anyways, because I'm pretty sure the police officer were like, sorry, sir, can I get you to step out of the fucking...
Yeah, that whole thing. I had to watch that a couple of times because I was like, hold on, what's going on here? So, like, the takeaway guy got killed.
As well. And we
for fuck all reason, basically. And he's on floor 8. And that's caused such a commotion that he's had to run up 2 flights of stairs, found the police, gone back down. And then these guys are going up the elevator. He's had to infiltrate the elevator. And they've not just gone, sorry, sir, this is a police investigation. Can you fuck off out of the elevator? Why would you not do that? And they're just gone, it's not polite. Leave him there. And then there's like fucking 10 police guys in this fucking elevator.
Also, as a funny thing, I didn't notice it, but someone was saying, oh yeah, they saw someone pulling down the cloth in the field when they was watching it. They noticed someone was just like, wee. But anyway.
Yeah.
And this was obviously after he finally got his revenge. So yeah. He's also a Mr. Revenge, technically speaking, right? Because going back to our
even though it is all his fault, yes.
Yeah, but still, it's because of our lovely sponsor, Baskin and Robbins that they could go and get a fucking big ice cream cake and come over, right? And it's
Yeah,
like,
when he dropped the cake, I was like, at least carry the cake to.
well, yeah, because I still love that interaction. It goes, so how far are you going? To hell. And she's like,
No. She said, "Are you going far?" And he's like,
Hell
"Hell."
yes.
hell. And I was like, okay, fucking weirdo. So, but she puts in extra dry ice, is what the reason is. And I was like,
Yeah.
oh, right, because they need to transport some organs. Right. Yeah, okay. But then afterwards, goes over, again afterwards, finally he bashes the dude's head in, then afterwards bashes the other dude's head in. But because he's deaf, he doesn't hear the old lady pull out the scalpel and slowly walk over to him to
Yeah.
stab him in the fucking where they cut him open. And it's like, okay.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Also, to add to that scene, when I think it added to it, but when Ryu ran back and knocked him over the head, that wasn't directed. He was just meant to like walk behind him and then like kind of like, oh, I'm just walking past this guy, bam, kind of thing. But he walked past him, and then he decided to sprint back and jump and hit. It's just like, oh, okay. But they just obviously they kept the scene in. But that wasn't meant to happen like that.
Okay, that's interesting. And I think Alec is listening to Pat complain.
Uh-oh.
It doesn't matter, Alec. Don't worry. It's just being moody. In any case, that scene was kind of fucked anyways because of
They were
what
family.
Huh?
They were sons and a mom.
Yeah,
And the son is raping the girl while she's drugged up on drugs. I'm like, this is some effed up family, man.
Yeah, that was already really.
Yeah, that's why I
anyways.
probably clocked out.
But that scene was pretty great though, because like he's strangling Ryu and he's like, but Ryu's like, stab in the back of the neck. I was like, oh,
Yeah,
that's pretty good, right? That scene was like, oh, yeah, he deserved it, but like, oh,
yeah.
I just like being balls deep in a fucking unconscious person, and then that's gonna get fucking cut out of context, isn't it? But it sees an intruder and goes, "Shall I pull my trousers up?" And
oh
go,
yeah,
nah, fuck it. Like, yeah, pull your fucking trousers up. Fuck me. Why not do that? What the fuck are you doing? Well, I guess he just still got stabbed in the neck, but it was just like, pull your fucking trousers up. Fuck me.
Yeah.
oh no, it didn't make sense, and it's just so confusing for
I think with this is just so many things where it's like there's things that are just not edited in. And I was like, where does he find Ryu? And I'm like, he probably finds Ryu from torturing the girlfriend.
Yes, yeah.
Do you show that? No, you do not. You did not show that.
Well, instead
I'm just meant to infer it.
Well, instead they showed when he broke into Ryu's apartment that he fucking ate the fucking the two brothers and the mum's kidneys, because suddenly he's Hannibal Lecter now. Makes no sense.
Hungry for kidneys.
He cut out the kidney, sliced the size and took their kidneys. This guy's crazy. Don't mess with him.
But it's even like, where did you find the girlfriend? And it's like, what? I don't know. How did he find the girl? Do you want to edit that scene in where he fucking finds the girlfriend? No. He just fucking shows up.
Oh shit! I think there was a reason why he found his girlfriend. Let me try. I'm trying to
We need
think.
to. I need to watch this 4OD film because this clearly has more answers in it.
But I feel like there was a
Stop
reason.
looking at the sunrise, Emmanuel.
There we go.
But I feel like there was a reason why he was able to find a girlfriend. I just can't remember it because it was so nonchalant. It's like, yeah, she's at this address. Cool. That's it. Then after this, they had that fucking stupid, like, it was supposed to be like a high tension cat and mouse game, right? But they were just fucking waiting. I've never seen a cat and mouse game about waiting at each other's houses, expecting them to fucking turn up because he was just there, like in the car, and he's like, okay, just finish this order. Oh, but I need to pee. I guess I just pee in this bottle and just leave it there. And he's got another bottle. Finished drinking it, peed in that one. I was like, how long were you fucking waiting there? And how long was Mr. Park waiting at Ryu's apartment? Because both of them are, it's just so stupid. They're just waiting there, expecting them to turn up, I guess. But like, no. Made no sense.
No. Ben, I'm so sorry you're not enjoying this. Are you alright?
I'm just tired.
You okay?
Tired, are you?
We can move on to Lady Vengeance because I don't want you to fall asleep.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
okay.
okay. He sent the cat gif of the one that's obviously dying. So I feel like, you know, time's not on our side here.
Okay, let's just quickly go over it. He would have got screwed if he went through the window. And
I will find this little clip here tonight. I will find this little clip to show this guy had no fucking reason to be in Ryu's apartment.
okay, but let's just skip to the point.
It's fucking up the Skype call. It's not Skype, it's Zoom. It's fucking up the whole Zoom call. I'll find it.
Well, we'll just get to the point that the point of this film and the title of this film where we could give sympathy, because the whole point is he fucking electrocuted Ryu. I was about to stab him right there, and I was like, and he thought, no, let's do something more poetic. I thought he was gonna because I didn't watch this film before. I thought he was gonna kill him and bury him with his sister. I thought that's kind of nice, I guess. But no. He fucking went. He fucking got him into the water. I was like, hey, I know you're a good guy, but you know I have to kill you, right? Slits his fucking Achilles tendons, lets him fucking drown to where his fucking daughter died. And I was like, okay, I guess I could have sympathy for you, but I was like, no one has sympathy. There's like no sympathy. It's like no. It's like that's it.
This is the thing. I was explaining the plot to Eb, and she was going like, "Oh, so it was all like pointless." And I was like, "Yeah, it was all completely pointless. This was all done for a kidney transplant that becomes absolutely fucking like just obsolete. I don't know, half an hour in."
Camilla wasn't happy when I told her the story. She was just
then afterwards, he gets the fucking
surprised.
phone call from the hospital, and the hospital was like, "I'm sorry, the little boy, your son has died." And I was like, well, fucking, there's no catharsis there. And afterwards, while he's burying the fucking body, okay, I'm not sure if I misunderstood it though. Those were her terrorist friends, right? But those weren't the actual. I thought for a second, were those four guys the guys in the beginning of the movie that were jerking each other off? I was like, no way! Is that fucking, I don't
Yes.
fucking what?
Yeah.
We're a very dangerous organization. Now let me just fucking just sellotape this fucking pen up to the back of your head.
It's not, right? I'm overthinking this, right? It's not just those four guys, right?
You're overthinking it. I love the idea that it is that.
Because that messed with my brain a bit. I was like, no, that can't be. Is it? Oh shit! Is it? Oh fucking! That's so fucking.
I
pointless.
so wish it was that.
I was like, nah, No, it
It'd
was.
be like an episode of Scooby Doo.
It's not jerking off in Scooby Doo.
But you fucking know.
I mean, saying that, Ryu and the father are the ones who try and take out Lady Vengeance. So I'd be full circle.
Mm.
And then they both get killed and taken out.